Welcome to English Listening Practice Daily. This episode is designed to help advanced learners of English enhance their listening skills through real-life conversations and practical language use. Today, we will take you through a variety of situations that are common in daily life, helping you build fluency and confidence in your communication. Listening to natural conversations is one of the best ways to train your ear and pick up the nuances of English. Let's start by imagining a typical morning. You wake up, stretch, and get ready to start your day. Perhaps you exchange a few words with a family member or a roommate. You might hear phrases like, "Did you sleep well?" or "What's on your schedule today?" These simple interactions are essential for building rapport and maintaining relationships, yet they can be challenging if you're not familiar with natural conversational patterns. By practicing these exchanges, you'll be able to respond more effortlessly in similar real-life situations. Now, think about ordering breakfast at a cafe. Imagine stepping up to the counter and saying, "Could I get a coffee with almond milk and a croissant, please?" The person taking your order might ask, "Would you like anything else?" Or, "Is that for here or to go?" These are typical questions you'll hear in such contexts. Listening closely to how people phrase their sentences and respond politely is key to mastering these interactions. Later in the day, you might find yourself commuting to work. On a crowded train or bus, you might hear someone ask, "Excuse me, is this seat taken?" Or, "Do you know if this stops at Green Street?" These small exchanges often require quick thinking and clear responses. Practicing how to ask and answer such questions will boost your confidence in navigating public spaces in English-speaking environments. In the workplace, conversations take on a different tone. Small talk with colleagues might include questions like, "How was your weekend?" or "Did you catch the latest episode of that show?" These interactions not only help break the ice, but also build stronger professional relationships. Being able to respond with phrases like, "It was great," "I went hiking," or "Yes, wasn't the ending surprising?" can make you feel more connected and engaged in your work environment. As the day comes to an end, you might unwind by running errands or shopping for groceries. Imagine asking a store clerk, "Could you tell me where the organic produce is?" Or responding to, "It's right next to the dairy section." These everyday tasks may seem mundane, but they are excellent opportunities to practice your language. Skills in a low-pressure setting. Paying attention to tone, phrasing, and word choice in such situations can make a significant difference in your overall fluency. Finally, as evening falls, you might relax at home with friends or family. Conversations might revolve around planning a movie night, sharing stories about your day, or even discussing tomorrow's schedule. Engaging in these casual discussions helps you become comfortable with informal language and idiomatic expressions, which are a crucial part of becoming proficient in English. This episode is packed with practical examples and insights to help you tackle a wide range of daily scenarios. Let's dive deeper into these conversations and explore how to respond naturally and confidently in English. Let's think about a scenario where you're dining at a restaurant. Imagine walking in, being greeted by the host, and being asked, "Do you have a reservation?" If you do, you might reply, "Yes, it's under your name." If not, you could say, "No, but do you have a table for two available?" Once seated, the server might ask, "Can I get you started with something to drink?" Or, "Are you ready to order?" Or, "Would you like a few more minutes?" Listening carefully to such questions helps you respond smoothly. For instance, you could reply, "I'll have water, please," or "We need a few more minutes, thank you." During the meal, you may want to ask for something. For example, if the table is missing cutlery, you might say, "Excuse me, could I get a fork, please?" Or, if you want a recommendation, "What dish would you recommend?" These moments provide an opportunity to practice making polite requests, a vital skill in English communication. After finishing your meal, you'll likely hear, "Would you like to see the dessert menu?" Or, can I get you anything else? Knowing how to respond to these questions, whether with a simple no thank you or yes, I'd like to see the dessert menu, can make your dining experience smoother. Now, let's picture yourself shopping for clothes. You walk into a store and a sales assistant approaches, asking, "Can I help you find something?" A good response might be, "Yes, I'm looking for a formal shirt." Or, "No, I'm just browsing. Thank you." If you need a different size, you could ask, "Do you have this in a medium?" Or, "Is this available in a different color?" These interactions may seem straightforward, but they are excellent opportunities to refine your speaking skills in a context that's both practical and common. When it comes to more formal situations, like attending an interview, your responses become more structured. For example, when asked, "Can you tell me about yourself?" you might say, "Sure, I have a background in marketing and have been working in the field for 5 years. In my previous role, I managed a team of 6 and developed successful campaigns for several clients." Practicing such answers not only improves your fluency, but also prepares you for high-stakes conversations where clarity and confidence are key. Let's also explore social events, like parties or networking gatherings. Imagine being introduced to someone and hearing, "Hi, I'm Name. It's nice to meet you." A common and polite response would be, "Hi, I'm your Name. Nice to meet you too." To keep the conversation going, you could ask, "How do you know host's name?" Or, "What do you do for work?" These types of interactions are invaluable for building relationships and expanding your conversational range. Traveling abroad provides another rich context for listening practice. At the airport, you might hear announcements like, "Flight 452 to New York is now boarding at gate 15." Or questions at the check-in counter such as, "Do you have any checked luggage?" Understanding these phrases and knowing how to respond, for example, "Yes, I have one suitcase," or "No, just a carry-on," makes your travel experience far more manageable. While sightseeing, asking locals for directions, such as, "How do I get to the nearest subway station?" or "Could you recommend a good restaurant nearby?" can enhance your language skills while also giving you practical knowledge. Picture yourself at a community event, perhaps a festival or a local market. As you walk around, you might overhear conversations like, "Do you know where they're selling handmade jewelry?" Or, "The food stalls are amazing this year, aren't they?" These casual exchanges are rich with opportunities to observe how people naturally interact. If someone strikes up a conversation with you, they might start with, "What brings you here today?" Or, "Have you been to this event before?" Responding with, "I heard about it from a friend and I thought I'd check it out." Or, "Yes, I come every year. It's always a lot of fun," can make you feel more connected and engaged with the people around you. Now imagine attending a workshop or seminar. The speaker might begin with, "Thank you all for coming today. We're excited to share some valuable insights." During the session, you could hear questions like, "Does anyone have any experience with this topic?" Or, "Are there any questions before we move on?" If you want to participate, you could say something like, "Yes, I've worked on a similar project, and I found that," or, "I have a question about the example you shared earlier." Speaking up in these settings is a great way to practice presenting your ideas clearly and effectively. Let's transition to a scenario where you're navigating a healthcare setting. For instance, visiting a doctor's office. You might begin the conversation with the receptionist saying, "I have an appointment at 10 a.m. with Dr. Smith." The receptionist could ask, "Could you please fill out this form?" Or, "Can I see your ID and insurance card?" These routine exchanges are essential for ensuring everything runs smoothly. When you see the doctor, they might ask, "What brings you in today?" Or, "Can you describe your symptoms?" Clear responses like, "I've been experiencing a headache for the past 3 days, and it's not going away." Or, "I'm here for my annual checkup," can help you communicate effectively and receive the care you need. Another common situation is attending a gym or fitness class. When you arrive, you might hear someone say, "Hi, are you here for the yoga class?" Or, "The spinning class starts in 10 minutes. Have you signed up?" If you're new, you might ask, "Could you tell me where the lockers are?" Or, "Is it okay if I join without prior registration?" During the class, the instructor might say, "Make sure to keep your back straight," or "Take a deep breath and hold the pose." These instructions can help you not only follow along, but also improve your ability to understand specific directions in English. In a more social setting, like a book club, the conversation could revolve around discussing a novel. Someone might start by asking, "What did you think of the main character's decisions?" Or, "Did you find the ending surprising?" Responding with, "I thought the main character's choices were relatable, but I didn't agree with all of them." Or, "The ending caught me off guard, but it made sense in hindsight," allows you to practice expressing complex thoughts and opinions. These discussions also expose you to different vocabulary and sentence structures, which can enrich your language skills. If you're planning to attend a concert or theater performance, the interactions can be equally engaging. While purchasing tickets, you might hear, "Would you prefer seats in the front row or further back?" Or, "The show starts at 7:30. Please make sure to arrive early." Responding with, "I'd like seats in the middle section, please." Or, "Thank you, I'll be there on time," helps you handle these exchanges smoothly. During intermission, someone might ask, "What do you think of the performance so far?" To which you could reply, "It's incredible. The actors are so talented," or, "The music is amazing. I'm really enjoying it." Let's shift to an academic setting, such as attending a university lecture or participating in a study group. Imagine sitting in a lecture hall filled with students, and the professor starts with, "Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be covering advanced theories in sociology." During the lecture, you might hear phrases like, "This concept is crucial because it underpins many modern societal structures." Or, "If you look at the chart on slide 3, you'll notice a clear trend." As a listener, taking notes and paying close attention to these explanations can improve your ability to process detailed and technical information in English. Now, let's consider participating in a study group discussion afterward. Someone might begin with, "What did you think about the professor's explanation of social dynamics?" You could respond with, "I thought it was fascinating, especially the part about how social norms evolve over time. What did you think?" This opens up a dialogue, allowing you to practice not just listening, but also contributing meaningfully to a conversation. Another group member might say, "I struggled with the example about economic stratification. Can someone explain it differently?" Here, you could step in with, "Sure, I think the professor meant that economic divisions influence social mobility in ways we might not immediately notice, like access to education or job opportunities." Let's now transition to a professional environment, like a networking event. Imagine being surrounded by professionals in your industry, and someone approaches you with, "Hi, I'm Sarah, a project manager at Green Tech Solutions. What do you do?" You might respond with, "Hi, Sarah. It's great to meet you. I'm Alex, and I specialize in digital marketing for startups. What projects are you currently working on?" This type of back and forth helps you develop confidence in introducing yourself and discussing your career in a professional setting. Throughout the event, you might hear phrases like, "What's your take on the latest industry trends?" Or, "Have you attended this conference before?" Practicing responses such as, "I think the shift towards sustainability is really exciting." Or, "Yes, this is my second year attending and I've found it very insightful," can prepare you for real-life networking situations. Now imagine you're invited to a dinner party with a group of acquaintances. The host might greet you with, "Welcome! I'm so glad you could make it. Can I take your coat?" You could reply, "Thank you for inviting me. Your home is lovely. As you mingle with the other guests, someone might say, "The food smells amazing, doesn't it?" To which you could respond, "Absolutely. I'm curious to know what's on the menu tonight." These types of informal interactions are perfect opportunities to practice conversational English, particularly when it comes to small talk and expressing appreciation or interest. During the dinner, the conversation might shift to more engaging topics, like travel. Someone might share, "I recently visited Italy, and the food there was out of this world." You could respond with, "That sounds incredible. Did you have a favorite dish?" As the discussion continues, another guest might ask, "Where's the most interesting place you've traveled to?" This is your chance to share a story, such as, "Last year I went to Japan, and I was amazed by how rich the culture is. The cherry blossoms in Kyoto were breathtaking, and I even tried making sushi during a cooking class. It was such a memorable experience." These narratives not only help you practice storytelling in English, but also make you an active participant in the conversation. Let's also explore a situation where you're volunteering for a community project, like organizing a charity event. The team leader might start with, "Thank you all for being here today. Our goal is to prepare care packages for the local shelter." You might hear instructions such as, "Please divide into teams of 2 and start by sorting the donated items into categories: food, clothing, and toiletries." Responding with, "Got it. I'll start with the clothing items," or asking for clarification like, "Should we include winter accessories in the clothing section?" helps you engage actively and ensures you're following directions properly. Let's now imagine a more formal scenario, such as attending a job interview. This is a setting where every word and expression counts, and your ability to listen carefully and respond thoughtfully can make a significant impact. The interviewer might start with a typical question like, "Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?" This question is an open invitation in a 35% increase in their customer engagement. "I'm particularly skilled at combining creativity with strategy to deliver impactful designs, and I'm excited about the opportunity to bring this expertise to your company." The interviewer might follow up with, "What would you say is your greatest strength?" A detailed and thoughtful reply might be, "I'd say my greatest strength is my ability to adapt quickly and think creatively under pressure." For instance, in my previous job, there was a situation where a client needed a complete redesign of their marketing materials within an extremely tight deadline. Instead of seeing this as a challenge, I viewed it as an opportunity to streamline processes and focus on key priorities. I collaborated with my team, divided the workload efficiently, and delivered a product that exceeded the client's expectations, all while meeting the deadline. This experience taught me the importance of clear communication and teamwork in achieving ambitious goals. Another common interview question might be, "Can you describe a time you faced a difficult situation and how you handled it?" You could respond by painting a vivid picture of the scenario. "Of course. In my previous role, there was a time when 2 team members had conflicting ideas about the direction of a project, which led to delays in progress. As the team lead, I felt it was my responsibility to mediate and resolve the issue. I scheduled a meeting with both members, allowing each of them to explain their perspectives fully. I then identified the common ground between their ideas and proposed a hybrid solution that incorporated elements of both approaches. Not only did this resolve the conflict, but it also strengthened team morale and led to a highly successful project outcome. From this experience, I learned the importance of active listening, empathy, and finding solutions that align with everyone's strengths. Beyond interviews, let's imagine a scenario where you're participating in a panel discussion or giving a presentation. Perhaps you're asked to speak about your professional journey at an industry event. You might begin with, "Thank you for inviting me to share my story today. I'd like to start by reflecting on how my career has evolved over the years. When I began as a junior designer, I was primarily focused on honing my technical skills. Over time, I realized the importance of understanding client needs and market trends, which led me to take on more strategic roles. One of my most rewarding experiences was leading a cross-functional team to develop a campaign that not only met, but surpassed client expectations. It was during this project that I discovered my passion for mentoring others and fostering collaboration. As the discussion continues, someone in the audience might ask, "What advice would you give to someone just starting in this field?" You could respond thoughtfully with, "My biggest piece of advice is to stay curious and never stop learning. In this field, technology and trends evolve rapidly, so it's crucial to keep up to date by attending workshops, networking with peers, and experimenting with new tools. Equally important is building relationships and seeking out mentors who can guide you." Early in my career, I had a mentor who not only taught me technical skills, but also helped me understand the value of communication and empathy in working with clients. That guidance has been invaluable, and I try to pass it on whenever I can. Now, let's turn to a more casual but equally important scenario: meeting someone new in a social or professional setting. Imagine you're at a networking event, and someone approaches you with, "Hi, I'm Chris. I work in software development. What about you?" This is your chance to introduce yourself with confidence and engage in a meaningful conversation. A great response might be, "Hi, Chris. It's nice to meet you. I'm a project manager specializing in creative industries. I work closely with designers, developers, and marketers to bring ideas to life. It's fascinating to hear that you're in software development. What kind of projects do you typically work on?" By showing interest in the other person's work and sharing a bit about your own, you create a positive impression and lay the groundwork for a fruitful exchange. In a professional setting, there are many situations where effective communication is key. For example, if you're discussing a team project and your colleague asks, "How is the project coming along?" You might respond confidently with, "Things are going well. Thank you for asking. We've made good progress so far, and the design team has completed the initial drafts. We're currently reviewing them and should be able to meet the deadline. However, we'll need to incorporate the client's feedback in the next stage to ensure it aligns with their vision." If the conversation shifts to challenges, you could say, "One challenge we faced is ensuring alignment across departments. To address this, I've scheduled a meeting to clarify expectations and keep everyone on the same page." In another scenario, if you're giving a presentation, you could start by saying, "Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm presenting our new marketing strategy for the upcoming campaign, which focuses on a multi-channel approach, including social media, email marketing, and influencer partnerships." A clear and confident tone is crucial for engaging your audience. And when receiving feedback, whether it's from a manager or a colleague, it's important to respond with professionalism. "Thank you for your feedback. I'll make sure to address those areas and would appreciate any further clarification to ensure I make the necessary improvements." Lastly, in situations where conflict arises at work, like when you disagree with a colleague, try saying, "I see your point, and I think we can benefit from discussing both approaches to find a solution that works for everyone." This approach emphasizes collaboration and problem solving. In more casual professional settings, such as small talk in the office kitchen, you might respond to a question like, "How was your weekend?" by saying, "It was great. I spent time hiking with friends, which was a nice way to unwind. How about you?" This shows a willingness to engage and helps build rapport. Each of these scenarios provides an opportunity to practice your English communication skills, helping you feel more confident in professional interactions. Imagine you're in a situation where your boss asks you to handle a client complaint. You might respond with, "I completely understand your concern, and I'm truly sorry to hear that you had an issue with our service. My priority is to make sure you're completely satisfied, so I'd like to gather more details so I can address the situation effectively. Could you please tell me exactly what happened, and if there's anything specific you feel we can improve? Once I have a better understanding, I'll work with the relevant team to find a solution as quickly as possible." This response demonstrates empathy, professionalism, and a willingness to take responsibility while focusing on finding a solution. If the conversation continues and your boss asks, "How do you handle stressful situations?" you might reply with, "In stressful situations, I try to stay calm and focused." For example, during a recent project, we were running behind schedule, and the client was becoming increasingly frustrated. Instead of panicking, I took a step back and assessed the situation. I prioritized tasks, delegated work effectively to my team members, and communicated transparently with the client about the progress and expected timelines. This allowed us to not only meet the deadline, but also deliver a high-quality result, which ultimately strengthened our relationship with the client. I believe that staying organized and keeping a level head during stressful times is crucial for managing the situation effectively. Now let's move to a more casual scenario where you're meeting someone for the first time at a networking event. Someone might approach you and ask, "What do you do?" A natural response might be, "I'm a project manager, and I specialize in managing creative projects from start to finish. I work with designers, developers, and marketers to ensure everything runs smoothly and on time." It's always exciting to see a project come to life, especially when it exceeds expectations. How about you? What field are you in? By sharing what you do and asking them about their work, you initiate a two-way conversation that fosters engagement and helps build rapport. Next, imagine you're at a client meeting discussing the details of a new project. The client might ask, "Can you give us an update on the timeline and the next steps?" You could respond with, "Of course. The first phase of the project is already underway, and we're currently gathering all the necessary materials. Our team is working to finalize the initial concepts, and we aim to have those ready for your review by next Friday. Once we've received your feedback, we'll move into the next phase, which involves refining the designs and getting everything ready for implementation. We're confident that we'll be able to stay on track and deliver the final product on schedule." In this response, you show clarity, organization, and your ability to manage timelines effectively, key qualities in any professional setting. Let's now explore a situation where you're providing constructive feedback to a colleague. Perhaps a team member submits a report that needs some revisions. You might say, "Thank you for submitting the report. I can see that you've put a lot of effort into it, and I appreciate your hard work. However, there are a few areas that I think could be improved to better align with the project objectives. For example, the data analysis section could benefit from more in-depth insights, and some of the conclusions could be clearer. If you'd like, we can go over it together and discuss ways to improve these areas. I'm confident that with a few adjustments, the report will be even stronger." This approach emphasizes collaboration, respects the colleague's work, and shows that you're invested in helping them improve, rather than just pointing out mistakes. In a slightly different scenario, let's say you're asked to give a speech at an industry conference. You might begin with, "Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today and to share insights about the evolving landscape of creative industries. I've been fortunate to work on several innovative projects throughout my career, and today I'll be discussing some of the most exciting trends that are shaping the future of design and marketing. I'll also share a few personal experiences that highlight the challenges we've faced and the strategies we've used to overcome them. I hope that by the end of this session, you'll leave with new ideas and a fresh perspective on how to approach your own work." This introduction provides a clear overview of your speech and engages the audience with a promise of valuable insights. Imagine you're in a situation where your boss asks you to handle a client complaint. You might respond with, "I completely understand your concern, and I'm truly sorry to hear that you had an issue with our service. My priority is to make sure you're completely satisfied, so I'd like to gather more details so I can address the situation effectively. Could you please tell me exactly what happened and if there's anything specific you feel we can improve? Once I have a better understanding, I'll work with the relevant team to find a solution as quickly as possible. This response demonstrates empathy, professionalism, and a willingness to take responsibility while focusing on finding a solution. If the conversation continues and your boss asks, "How do you handle stressful situations?" you might reply with, "In stressful situations, I try to stay calm and focused. For example, during a recent project, we were running behind schedule, and the client was becoming increasingly frustrated. Instead of panicking, I took a step back and assessed the situation. I prioritized tasks, delegated work effectively to my team members, and communicated transparently with the client about the progress and expected timelines. This allowed us to not only meet the deadline, but also deliver a high-quality result, which ultimately strengthened our relationship with the client. I believe that staying organized and keeping a level head during stressful times is crucial for managing the situation effectively." Now let's move to a more casual scenario where you're meeting someone for the first time at a networking event. Someone might approach you and ask, "What do you do?" A natural response might be, "I'm a project manager, and I specialize in managing creative projects from start to finish. I work with designers, developers, and marketers to ensure everything runs smoothly and on time. It's always exciting to see a project come to life, especially when it exceeds expectations. How about you? What field are you in?" By sharing what you do and asking them about their work, you initiate a two-way conversation that fosters engagement and helps build rapport. Next, imagine you're at a client meeting discussing the details of a new project. The client might ask, "Can you give us an update on the timeline and the next steps?" You could respond with, "Of course. The first phase of the project is already underway, and we're currently gathering all the necessary materials. Our team is working to finalize the initial concepts, and we aim to have those ready for your review by next Friday. Once we've received your feedback, we'll move into the next phase, which involves refining the designs and getting everything ready for implementation. We're confident that we'll be able to stay on track and deliver the final product on schedule." In this response, you show clarity, organization, and your ability to manage timelines effectively, key qualities in any professional setting. Let's now explore a situation where you're providing constructive feedback to a colleague. Perhaps a team member submits a report that needs some revisions. You might say, "Thank you for submitting the report. I can see that you've put a lot of effort into it, and I appreciate your hard work. However, there are a few areas that I think could be improved to better align with the project objectives. For example, the data analysis section could benefit from more in-depth insights, and some of the conclusions could be clearer. If you'd like, we can go over it together and discuss ways to improve these areas. I'm confident that with a few adjustments, the report will be even stronger." This approach emphasizes collaboration, respects the colleague's work, and shows that you're invested in helping them improve, rather than just pointing out mistakes. In a slightly different scenario, let's say you're asked to give a speech at an industry conference. You might begin with, "Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today and to share insights about the evolving landscape of creative industries. I've been fortunate to work on several innovative projects throughout my career, and today I'll be discussing some of the most exciting trends that are shaping the future of design and marketing. I'll also share a few personal experiences that highlight the challenges we faced and the strategies we've used to overcome them. I hope that by the end of this session, you'll leave with new ideas and a fresh perspective on how to approach your own work." This introduction provides a clear overview of your speech and engages the audience with switching gears to a more interpersonal yet professional situation. Imagine a team member approaches you with a question about how to handle a tough client. They might say, "I'm struggling with a client who seems dissatisfied no matter what." "I do. How would you approach this situation?" You might reply with, "I completely understand your frustration. Dealing with difficult clients can be challenging, but it's important to stay calm and maintain a level of professionalism throughout. First, I would suggest you start by listening carefully to their concerns. Sometimes, clients just want to be heard, and acknowledging their frustration can go a long way in easing tensions. Ask them specific questions to understand exactly what's bothering them, and make sure you reflect back what they're saying to show that you're actively listening. For example, you might say, "I hear you're concerned about the delays we've been experiencing. Can you tell me more about how that's affecting your project?" Once you fully understand the issue, try to find common ground. If there's a mistake on our end, take responsibility for it and explain how you're addressing it. If the client's expectations are unrealistic, gently help them see the bigger picture and suggest feasible alternatives. One technique I've found helpful is offering a solution that goes above and beyond their expectations. For instance, if they're unhappy with the timeline, you might offer an additional service at no extra charge, such as expedited delivery or an additional review meeting to ensure everything meets their standards. Even if we can't meet all of their demands, showing that we're willing to go the extra mile can make a significant difference. Lastly, after resolving the issue, follow up with the client to make sure they're satisfied. This shows them that you genuinely care about their experience and helps to rebuild trust. I think the most important thing is to stay positive, proactive, and solution-focused. It's all about building and maintaining long-term relationships, even in the face of challenges. In a more casual but still professional setting, you might be asked, "What motivates you to do your best work?" Your response could be, "What motivates me is the opportunity to work on projects that challenge me creatively while also having a measurable impact on the company's success. I love collaborating with my team to brainstorm ideas and come up with innovative solutions that make a real difference." For example, in my last project, I had the chance to redesign the company's website to improve user experience. Not only did we receive positive feedback from users, but the site's conversion rate also increased by 25% within a month of launch. Knowing that my work contributed to that success is incredibly motivating for me. I also thrive in environments where I feel supported by my team. Collaboration is a huge motivator. Being able to bounce ideas off others and receive constructive feedback helps me improve. I also value professional growth, so I'm always looking for opportunities to learn new skills and take on new challenges. Whether that's through attending workshops, experimenting with new tools, or seeking mentorship, I'm driven by the idea of continuous improvement. Ultimately, it's about doing meaningful work, growing professionally, and being part of a team that pushes each other to succeed. Lastly, let's tackle a situation where you're asked about the importance of work-life balance. A great response might be, "Work-life balance is crucial not just for personal well-being, but also for long-term professional success." When I first started my career, I thought that working long hours and being constantly available was the best way to prove my dedication. However, I quickly realized that burnout was affecting my creativity and productivity. Now, I prioritize setting boundaries between work and personal life. I make sure to schedule time for activities that recharge me, whether that's exercise, spending time with family, or simply relaxing. I've found that when I give myself space to recharge, I come back to work with renewed energy and a clearer mind, which ultimately leads to better performance. I also believe that fostering a culture of work-life balance in the workplace is important. When teams feel supported in balancing their professional and personal lives, they're more motivated, engaged, and productive. It's about creating an environment where employees feel valued, not just for the work they produce, but also for their overall well-being. Imagine you're given the responsibility to lead a project that involves multiple departments within your company, such as design, marketing, and sales. Your team leader might ask, "How would you approach this new project?" Your response could be, "Thank you for entrusting me with this project. I see it as a great opportunity to apply my leadership skills while fostering collaboration across multiple departments." In any cross-departmental project, my first priority would be to clearly understand the goals and objectives of each department involved. I would start by organizing one-on-one meetings with department heads or representatives to gather information about their individual needs, expectations, and any challenges they foresee. I'd ensure that I listen actively to understand their pain points, ideas, and vision for the project. After this, I would organize a kickoff meeting where all stakeholders from different departments can come together. During this meeting, I'd explain the project's high-level goals, share any initial research or ideas I've gathered, and provide a platform for each department to share their thoughts and concerns. The goal here would be to foster open communication and ensure alignment from the very beginning. As a project manager, I know that transparency and accountability are crucial. So, my next step would be to establish a shared project management tool that all teams can use to track progress. This would include setting clear milestones, deliverables, and deadlines, while also allowing each department to communicate easily within the tool. Each member would have a clear understanding of their responsibilities and what's expected from them. I would also define the key performance indicators, KPIs, for the project, so that we can track our progress, measure our success, and pivot when necessary. Throughout the project, I would hold regular check-in meetings with team members and department leads. These meetings would not only provide an opportunity to discuss the project's status, but also offer a forum for problem-solving, identifying roadblocks, and celebrating small wins. I would encourage everyone to raise concerns early on and bring solutions to the table. By fostering a sense of ownership and empowering each department to take responsibility for their area, we can maintain momentum and ensure high-quality output. In addition to the internal communication structure, I would also establish a clear method of reporting to upper management, ensuring they are kept in the loop and can offer guidance when needed. This would prevent misunderstandings or any surprises down the line. I would create a dashboard that visualizes project timelines, resource allocation, and any critical risks. I believe that sharing data in a clear and digestible format keeps everyone aligned and focused on the same goals. One of the biggest challenges in multi-departmental projects is ensuring that each team's goals and deadlines align with others. For example, if the marketing team needs design materials by a certain date, but the design team is delayed, it can cause a cascade of delays. In this case, I would take proactive steps by scheduling cross-functional meetings and maintaining transparent communication across departments. If any delays or issues arise, I would immediately bring all affected parties together to discuss how to resolve the issue in a way that benefits everyone. In some cases, I may need to reallocate resources or adjust timelines to make sure the project stays on track. One approach I found helpful is to divide the project into phases. These phases would be small, manageable chunks, each focused on delivering a specific milestone. After completing each phase, we would conduct a retrospective meeting where we assess what worked well, what could be improved, and how we can apply those insights to the next phase. This allows for continuous improvement and ensures that by the time we reach the final phase of the project, we've optimized our workflow and processes. Moreover, I would ensure that there are opportunities for team-building activities throughout the project lifecycle. By helping the teams connect on a personal level, we strengthen the working relationships and improve collaboration. Lastly, I believe in celebrating success. Once the project is successfully completed, I would take the time to acknowledge and thank each department for their hard work. Recognizing the team's effort not only boosts morale, but also reinforces the value of collaboration. I would also take the opportunity to gather feedback on how the process went, so we can continuously refine our approach for future projects. By applying all of these strategies, I'm confident we can not only meet our deadlines, but also create a final product that exceeds expectations and drives significant business value. Now, let's say you need to present a new business strategy to senior executives, and one of the executives asks, How do you plan to convince us of the value of this proposed strategy? Your response could be, "Thank you for the opportunity to present this strategy. I understand the importance of convincing senior executives of its potential value, and my approach will be rooted in data, practical application, and alignment with our company's long-term vision. First, I would start by clearly defining the strategy's objectives and the core business goals it aims to address. Whether the goal is to increase market share, improve operational efficiency, or enhance customer satisfaction, it's crucial that the strategy ties directly to what the company needs in order to succeed. To make the strategy more compelling, I would back it up with data and industry research. I would present a thorough analysis of the current market, including trends, competitor performance, and customer expectations. For instance, I might share findings that show how our competitors are capitalizing on similar strategies and how they've seen tangible results. By showing the market demand for this kind of strategy and demonstrating how it aligns with industry trends, I can make a strong case for why it's timely and necessary for our company to adopt it. From there, I would break down the key components of the strategy into actionable steps. It's important to show that this isn't just a conceptual idea, but a well-thought-out plan that can be executed. I would explain each phase of implementation, the resources required, and the projected timelines. I would also provide detailed risk assessments, addressing potential challenges and outlining how we plan to mitigate them. A well-prepared strategy always anticipates risks and outlines how to handle them, which helps build trust with senior executives. For example, if one of the risks involves potential resource constraints, I would propose a phased approach, starting with the most critical components and expanding once we have built momentum. Additionally, I would make sure to align the strategy with our broader company objectives, emphasizing how it fits within our long-term vision and growth strategy. For instance, if the company is focused on increasing innovation, I would highlight how the proposed strategy incorporates new technologies or methodologies that could drive innovation across departments. If the focus is on improving customer engagement, I would demonstrate how the strategy improves the customer experience and can lead to higher retention rates and customer loyalty. To further strengthen my argument, I would provide real-world case studies of companies that have implemented similar strategies and seen measurable success. These examples would serve as proof points that the strategy is not just a theoretical concept, but one that has been proven to work in the industry. I would also present projected outcomes based on similar implementations, including ROI estimates and key performance metrics. This would help the executives see the potential impact the strategy could have on the company's bottom line. Finally, I would make sure to offer a transparent view of the potential obstacles and challenges involved. Executives appreciate honesty, so rather than trying to downplay risks, I would acknowledge them and explain how we plan to address them proactively. I might suggest, for example, that we run a pilot program to test the strategy before full-scale implementation, allowing us to gather feedback and make adjustments before rolling it out company-wide. In conclusion, my goal would be to present a clear, data-driven, and well-organized case for the strategy. I would address how it aligns with the company's goals, demonstrate the proven success of similar approaches, and present a detailed implementation plan that mitigates risk and drives tangible outcomes. I would also open the floor for questions, ensuring the executives feel heard and involved in the decision-making process. This collaborative approach will not only convince them of the strategy's value, but also gain their buy-in and commitment to its success. Let's say you are tasked with leading a change management initiative at your company, and the leadership asks, how would you guide the team through this change while ensuring minimal disruption to productivity? Your response could be, thank you for the opportunity to discuss this important task. Managing change in an organization is a critical skill, and I believe that a successful change management initiative begins with understanding the current state of the organization and the reasons behind the change. To begin, I would start by thoroughly understanding the underlying reasons for the change, whether it's the introduction of new technology, a shift in company culture, or a major strategic pivot. It's essential to first understand the purpose of the change and how it aligns with the overall mission and goals of the company. In my experience, the first step in any change management process is to gain buy-in from leadership and key stakeholders. I would ensure that all leadership teams are fully aligned with the vision and benefits of the change, which would then help to communicate a unified message to the broader organization. Once we've established clear leadership alignment, I would move on to communicating the change across the organization in a way that is transparent, empathetic, and inclusive. I firmly believe that the key to reducing resistance and ensuring the success of any change initiative is through effective communication. I would start by holding town hall meetings where leadership can introduce the change, explain the rationale behind it, and address any potential concerns. During these meetings, I would encourage open dialogue, allowing employees to voice their concerns and ask questions. This would not only help to build trust, but would also create a space where employees feel heard and valued in the process. In addition to large group meetings, I would develop a robust communication strategy that includes multiple touchpoints, such as emails, newsletters, internal blogs, and targeted meetings. I would aim to reach employees in a variety of ways to ensure they receive the information, as different individuals may prefer different communication styles. The messaging would be clear, consistent, and focused on the benefits of the change, not just for the company, but also for the employees themselves. I would highlight how the change will improve work processes, create new opportunities, or enhance overall job satisfaction. By framing the change in a positive light, employees are more likely to embrace it. A critical aspect of change management is to support the team throughout the transition. This involves providing the right tools, training, and resources to ensure employees feel equipped to navigate the change. For example, if the change involves a new software system, I would work closely with the IT department to ensure that training sessions are set up early on, allowing employees to become familiar with the new system before it's implemented. I would also provide ongoing support, whether through help desks, FAQs, or follow-up training sessions, to ensure employees can get the help they need. Additionally, I would create a support network where employees can connect with one another, share tips, and discuss any challenges they're facing. This peer support system can be incredibly valuable as it fosters collaboration and helps employees feel less isolated during the transition. Another important aspect of managing change is to be adaptable and open to feedback. As the change process unfolds, it's crucial to remain flexible and listen to the feedback being provided by employees. Change is often met with a range of emotions, from excitement to fear and frustration. By gathering feedback regularly through surveys, focus groups, and one-on-one interviews, I would be able to assess how employees are reacting to the change and adjust our approach accordingly. If any obstacles or resistance arise, I would address them promptly by offering additional resources or adjusting the implementation process. For example, if certain employees are struggling with the new system, I might provide more personalized training or assign mentors to help guide them through the learning process. While it's important to focus on the immediate implementation of the change, I would also keep an eye on the long-term sustainability of the change. This involves embedding the change into the company's culture and processes. I would work with department heads to ensure that the change becomes a natural part of the daily workflow and not something that is seen as temporary or forced. I would also work with HR and leadership to make sure that the change is reflected in performance metrics, company values, and other key areas of the business. Over time, we would celebrate milestones and successes associated with the change to reinforce its positive impact on the company. By recognizing and rewarding those who embrace the change early on, we can create a culture that is more open to future changes and innovations. Finally, I would ensure that we measure the success of the change management initiative through clear metrics and KPIs. These could include things like employee engagement, productivity levels, turnover rates, and overall business performance. By tracking these metrics, we can assess whether the change has had the desired impact and make adjustments where necessary. I would also gather qualitative feedback from employees to gain a deeper understanding of how the change is affecting them personally and professionally. This holistic approach to measurement ensures that we can continuously improve our change management process and provide the best possible experience for employees. Overall, my approach to change management is built on transparency, communication, training, adaptability, and long-term integration. I believe that by creating a supportive environment where employees feel empowered and informed, we can successfully navigate change while minimizing disruption to productivity. It's important to remember that change is not just a process, but an ongoing journey that requires constant evaluation, feedback, and collaboration. By embracing this mindset, I'm confident we can achieve both short-term success and long-term growth as an organization. Now, let's say you're managing a team and a conflict arises between two team members. Your manager might ask, how would you handle a situation where two team members are in conflict and it's affecting the team's performance? Your response could be, handling conflicts within a team is one of the most challenging yet rewarding aspects of management. In my experience, conflicts are often a result of miscommunication, differing priorities, or competing interests. My first step in resolving any team conflict is to take a step back and approach the situation with a mindset of empathy and objectivity. I would start by having one-on-one meetings with each of the team members involved in the conflict. These private conversations are important because they allow each person to express their side of the story without feeling judged or defensive. I would ensure that each individual feels heard and that their concerns are validated. During these discussions, I would ask open-ended questions to fully understand the root cause of the conflict. It could be a personality clash, a difference in working styles, or perhaps a misunderstanding of expectations. Whatever the cause, I would take note of the key issues and try to identify any patterns that might point to larger systemic problems within the team. At this stage, my goal would be to gather information and gain clarity on each individual's perspective without taking sides or making assumptions. I would maintain a neutral stance throughout the conversation, encouraging each person to express their feelings in a constructive manner. Once I've gathered both perspectives, I would bring the two team members together in a joint meeting. In this meeting, I would encourage open and honest dialogue between the individuals, ensuring that the conversation remains respectful and solution-focused. I would act as a mediator, guiding the conversation to ensure that each person listens actively to the other's point of view. My role as a mediator is not to impose a solution, but to facilitate a constructive conversation that encourages mutual understanding. I would encourage the team members to focus on the issue at hand, rather than making it personal or bringing up unrelated past grievances. One approach that I have found particularly effective in these situations is to help the individuals reframe the conflict as a shared problem that needs to be solved collaboratively. I would ask questions like, what do you both need in order to move forward? Or, how can we work together to achieve the best outcome for the team? By shifting the focus from blame to problem solving, both team members are more likely to engage in a productive discussion and find common ground. I would also emphasize that the goal is to find a solution that benefits the team as a whole, rather than just resolving the conflict between the two individuals. After reaching a resolution, I would follow up with both team members to ensure that the solution is being implemented and that there are no lingering issues. I would also monitor the overall team dynamics to ensure that the conflict hasn't affected the morale or performance of other team members. If necessary, I would provide additional support or coaching to the individuals involved to ensure that the conflict doesn't reemerge. Additionally, I would look for opportunities to strengthen the team's communication and collaboration skills to prevent future conflicts from arising. Regular team-building activities and open feedback loops can be valuable in maintaining a healthy, cooperative work environment. While resolving conflicts can be challenging, I believe that when handled effectively, they can lead to stronger team cohesion and better collaboration in the long run. By fostering a culture of open communication, empathy, and mutual respect, we can transform conflicts into opportunities for growth and learning. But imagine you're tasked with developing a new product strategy for your company. Your boss might ask, how would you approach creating a strategy for a product launch, ensuring its success in the market? Here's how you could respond. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss this. Creating a product strategy is a multifaceted and detailed process that requires both creativity and analysis. I'd approach this challenge with a structured and comprehensive plan that combines market research, consumer insights, competitive analysis, product development, and go-to-market tactics to ensure a successful launch. To start, I would first work to understand the company's overarching goals and how the new product fits into the broader business strategy. This includes understanding the target customer segments, the market gaps we aim to fill, and the value proposition that will make our product stand out. A clear alignment between the product strategy and the company's mission and vision is essential. Once the broader strategic context is clear, I would dive deeper into market research to gather data on consumer preferences, unmet needs, and current trends. This includes conducting surveys, focus groups, and competitor analysis to better understand what consumers want and how competitors are positioning similar products. For example, if we're launching a new tech product, I'd look at emerging technological trends, customer pain points, and how the market is evolving in terms of consumer behavior. A thorough competitive analysis is also essential at this stage. I would assess the strengths and weaknesses of existing products in the market to understand where we can differentiate our offering. This includes reviewing competitors' pricing, models, their marketing campaigns, their distribution channels, and customer feedback. It's essential to identify any gaps in their products that we can exploit. For example, if competitors are offering a similar product but with limitations in terms of customer support or usability, I would position our product as a superior alternative by emphasizing these aspects in our marketing strategy. By gaining insights into what works and what doesn't in the market, we can identify areas where we can create a truly unique value proposition. After gathering data, I would work with cross-functional teams, including product development, marketing, sales, and customer support, to translate this research into a tangible product roadmap. The product roadmap is the blueprint that guides the entire development process, from conceptualization to launch. It should clearly outline key milestones, deliverables, and deadlines, ensuring alignment across departments. It's also important to prioritize features based on customer needs and business objectives. For instance, if consumers are particularly focused on a product's user interface, I would ensure that this is prioritized in the development process. We might also look into ways to enhance the customer experience by integrating features that are not offered by competitors, but that could significantly improve customer satisfaction. Once the roadmap is established, I would collaborate closely with the product development team to ensure that we have the necessary resources and capabilities to bring the product to life. This involves coordinating with engineers, designers, and other experts to refine the product concept and ensure it's feasible from both a technical and a customer experience standpoint. During this phase, it's important to conduct rigorous testing and iteration. We would run pilot programs or beta testing with a small group of customers to gather feedback, address any potential issues, and make refinements before the product is released to the broader market. Testing helps us ensure that the product is not only functional, but also meets customer expectations in terms of usability, quality, and performance. Based on feedback from early testers, we might decide to tweak certain features or add new ones before launch. As the product moves closer to launch, I would begin working on the go-to-market (GTM) strategy. The GTM strategy includes everything from product positioning to pricing, distribution, and promotional tactics. I would first ensure that we have a clear and compelling narrative about the product's value proposition. This is crucial for differentiating our product in a crowded market. For example, if our product is a health app, the positioning could focus on its ability to provide personalized health insights using AI, setting it apart from generic fitness apps. The next step is determining the product's pricing strategy. I would analyze the pricing models of competitors, the perceived value of the product, and our target customers' willingness to pay. We might use pricing tiers to appeal to different customer segments or introduce limited-time offers or discounts to drive initial adoption. It's also important to think about how we want to distribute the product. If we're launching a physical product, we might want to partner with retailers, while a digital product might be best distributed through app stores or our website. Understanding where our target customers shop and how they prefer to make purchases will be crucial in determining the right distribution channels. Once the product is ready for launch, I would work with the marketing team to build a robust promotional campaign that maximizes visibility and drives sales. This would involve leveraging various marketing channels, including social media, email marketing, influencer partnerships, and PR outreach, to create buzz around the product. For example, if we're launching a new mobile phone, we might partner with tech influencers who have a strong following among our target demographic. In addition to online marketing, I would ensure that we have in-store promotions, product demonstrations, and events that give customers an opportunity to experience the product firsthand. Throughout this phase, I would ensure that all messaging is consistent across all channels, from digital ads to packaging, to reinforce the product's value and appeal. In addition to driving sales, the launch phase also includes building long-term customer relationships. This means providing excellent customer service, creating opportunities for user-generated content and reviews, and ensuring that customers feel supported throughout their journey with the product. Post-launch, I would closely monitor sales data, customer feedback, and market trends to assess how well the product is performing and to identify areas for improvement. It's important to remain flexible and open to making adjustments after the product is launched. For instance, if we find that customers are having trouble with a specific feature, we might release an update to address their concerns. If the product is a digital product like an app, ongoing updates and improvements are key to retaining customers and encouraging them to use the product over time. Additionally, I would use the data gathered from this launch to inform future product strategies, taking note of what worked well and where we can improve. Finally, I would create a feedback loop that continuously gathers insights from both customers and internal stakeholders. This could include post-launch surveys, direct interviews with customers, and regular reviews with the sales and customer support teams. The feedback from these sources will be invaluable in refining the product, adjusting marketing tactics, and ensuring that we're meeting our customers' needs both during and after the launch. I'd also encourage the team to celebrate milestones, whether it's reaching sales targets or receiving positive customer feedback, as this fosters a sense of achievement and motivates everyone to continue working toward the success. The key to a successful product launch is not just about executing the strategy, but also about staying agile and responsive throughout the process. It's about constantly learning from the market, from customer behavior, and from internal teams, and using that knowledge to drive improvements and create products that truly resonate with the audience. By focusing on the customer, being proactive in addressing challenges, and ensuring that every department is aligned toward the common goal of delivering a great product experience, I believe that we can set the product up for long-term success. I'm confident that by leveraging a structured, data-driven approach while remaining adaptable, we can create a product that not only meets customer needs, but exceeds their expectations. Certainly. Let's keep going. expanding on the approach and exploring more nuanced angles of product strategy development, including deeper layers of detail. In addition to the initial stages of market research, competitive analysis, and product roadmap development, one critical factor to address in a product strategy is the integration of sustainability and long-term value creation. Modern customers are not only looking for products that meet their immediate needs, but are also increasingly aware of the environmental and social impact of the brands they support. For example, if the product involves physical manufacturing, I would prioritize identifying suppliers and production methods that align with sustainable practices. This could mean using recycled materials, minimizing waste during production, or implementing energy-efficient manufacturing techniques. These practices not only appeal to environmentally conscious consumers, but also position the company as a forward-thinking and responsible brand. Furthermore, it's important to think about how the product's life cycle can be optimized for long-term customer satisfaction. This could involve designing for durability and upgradability, especially if the product falls into categories like technology or home appliances. A product that can be updated with software improvements or modular components reduces waste and gives customers a sense of ongoing value. For instance, if we're launching a smart home device, ensuring compatibility with future technologies and offering regular software updates would be crucial. Customers are more likely to invest in products that evolve over time rather than becoming obsolete shortly after purchase. As we look toward the marketing and promotional phase, storytelling becomes an essential tool for engaging the audience. Today's consumers don't just buy products, they buy stories and experiences. This means that our marketing campaigns should not only highlight the features and benefits of the product, but also connect emotionally with the audience. For example, we could create a series of short videos showcasing how the product solves real-life problems or enhances the lives of users. These videos could feature testimonials from early adopters, behind-the-scenes footage of the product development process, or even user-generated content that demonstrates the product in action. By making the story relatable and authentic, we can build trust and foster a stronger connection with potential customers. Another critical consideration is leveraging data analytics to refine our strategy throughout the process. For instance, during the pre-launch phase, we could use social media listening tools to gauge public sentiment about similar products or identify trending topics related to our industry. This data can inform our messaging and help us identify key influencers who can amplify our reach. Post-launch, we can track customer interactions across digital platforms to measure the effectiveness of our campaigns and identify areas for improvement. Metrics such as click-through rates, conversion rates, and customer retention rates provide valuable insights into what's working and what needs adjustment. When it comes to customer acquisition, it's also important to consider partnerships and collaborations as part of the strategy. Partnering with complementary brands, influencers, or organizations can help us reach new audiences and add credibility to our product. For example, if the product is a fitness app, we might collaborate with well-known fitness trainers or gyms to promote the app as part of a holistic health and wellness package. Similarly, for a product aimed at young professionals, partnering with co-working spaces or career development platforms could help position the product as a valuable tool for personal and professional growth. As we navigate these stages, internal alignment and communication within the organization are equally critical. A successful product launch requires seamless collaboration between departments, from R&D and marketing to sales and customer support. Regular cross-functional meetings and transparent communication channels ensure that everyone is aligned on the goals, timelines, and key deliverables. For example, the marketing team needs to understand the technical aspects of the product to effectively communicate its value, while the sales team must be equipped with the right training and materials to engage potential customers effectively. Similarly, customer support teams should be involved early on to prepare for potential questions or issues that might arise post-launch. An often overlooked but vital component of product strategy is contingency planning. No matter how well prepared we are, unforeseen challenges can arise, whether it's a supply chain disruption, a sudden change in market conditions, or unexpected customer feedback. Having contingency plans in place ensures that we can respond quickly and effectively to these challenges. For instance, if we anticipate potential delays in manufacturing, we could build buffer time into our timeline or secure secondary suppliers as a backup. Similarly, if initial customer feedback highlights a critical issue with the product, having a dedicated task force ready to address these concerns can prevent long-term damage to the brand's reputation. Another forward-thinking aspect of product strategy is community building. Creating a loyal community of users can turn customers into brand advocates who not only continue to use the product, but also actively promote it to others. This could involve creating an online forum or social media group where customers can share their experiences, provide feedback, and engage with the brand. Offering exclusive perks or early access to updates for community members can further incentivize engagement. For example, if the product is a software tool, we could invite community members to participate in beta testing for new features, making them feel like valued contributors to the product's evolution. In terms of scaling the product, it's essential to think about how the strategy can evolve over time to sustain growth. This might involve expanding into new markets, introducing complementary products, or exploring new distribution channels. For example, if the product initially targets a domestic market, we could research opportunities for international expansion by identifying countries with similar customer needs and market conditions. Alternatively, we could look at ways to diversify the product line to appeal to different customer segments. For instance, if the product is a line of skincare products, we might introduce variations tailored to different skin types or environmental conditions. Lastly, measuring and celebrating success is an integral part of the strategy. Setting clear, measurable goals at the outset allows us to track progress and evaluate the effectiveness of our approach. These goals could include specific revenue targets, market share objectives, or customer satisfaction metrics. Once these goals are achieved, it's important to acknowledge and celebrate the team's efforts. This not only boosts morale, but also reinforces a culture of excellence and continuous improvement within the organization. As we proceed with the product development lifecycle, we must remember that the product's success is not solely determined by its features, design, or the strategic efforts of its team during the creation phase. Long-term product success is also heavily reliant on post-launch activities, customer retention, and market adaptability. These are critical components in sustaining growth and ensuring that the product doesn't simply fade into obscurity after its initial hype subsides. This means a continuous loop of engagement, feedback, and iterative improvements, which ties into a greater concept of product lifecycle management. One of the most crucial post-launch activities is customer feedback analysis. Once the product is out in the market, the real test begins. Not just about how the product performs, but how customers perceive it and engage with it over time. This means actively listening to customer feedback, whether it's positive or negative. Having systems in place to gather and analyze feedback regularly is essential. This can range from automated surveys sent to customers after purchase, to analyzing customer reviews across platforms, or leveraging customer support interactions to identify recurring pain points. From a strategic standpoint, customer feedback loops should be built into the product roadmap itself. For instance, if customers are consistently requesting new features or reporting issues, the development team should be empowered to prioritize these insights and quickly adapt. This approach ensures that the product remains relevant to user needs and market trends. In some cases, this feedback can directly inspire the next iteration or version of the product. For example, a software product might begin with a core set of features, but as users engage with it, they may ask for integration with other tools or a new functionality. Responding quickly to these needs can build trust with the user base and enhance customer loyalty. On a broader scale, this focus on user-centric design and iterative development aligns with agile methodologies, which have become an industry standard. In many sectors, Agile emphasizes flexibility and responsiveness, allowing teams to break down projects into smaller, manageable pieces and adjust their strategy as necessary based on ongoing feedback. This iterative process also helps with risk management, as it allows for frequent testing, revisions, and adaptations before too much investment is made into a single direction. Agile is a dynamic process that champions continuous improvement, ensuring that the product remains aligned with both customer expectations and market trends over time. Another dimension to consider is scaling the product. Once initial customer acquisition is successful, the question arises, how do we expand our reach? Scaling isn't simply about reaching more customers, it's about maintaining or improving the product's quality, ensuring that it still meets customer needs, and avoiding growing pains that might negatively affect user experience. Expansion requires careful planning. It could involve introducing the product into new geographic regions, increasing marketing efforts to build awareness, or even adjusting the product for regional preferences. In international markets, it's crucial to consider language barriers, cultural nuances, and local customer preferences. For example, if a product is entering a new region with vastly different cultural norms, the marketing messages or even the product design might need to be adapted to resonate with local audiences. One important aspect of scaling is managing customer support as the customer base grows. In the early stages of product adoption, customer support might be handled by a small team, but as the customer base expands, the demand for support also increases. Ensuring that there are enough resources to provide timely and helpful assistance to users is essential. Companies may need to expand their customer service teams or implement more scalable solutions, such as AI-driven chatbots, knowledge bases, or self-service portals. These systems can help users resolve issues on their own, reducing the burden on support staff while maintaining customer satisfaction. However, it's essential that these tools are implemented in a way that still feels personal and approachable to customers, ensuring that they don't feel isolated or frustrated during the support process. As the product continues to evolve, integrating marketing strategies with the product's development process is essential for ensuring consistency in messaging and brand identity. The way a product is marketed can significantly influence customer perception and adoption. Marketing teams need to understand the product's unique value proposition deeply and communicate that clearly to the target audience. This goes beyond traditional advertising, especially in today's digital landscape, where content marketing, social media engagement, and influencer partnerships can make or break a product's visibility. Crafting compelling narratives around the product's development, its impact on customers, and its evolution over time helps create a story that resonates emotionally with the audience. For instance, when marketing a tech product, storytelling could focus on the founder's journey and the problem that led to the creation of the product. Emphasizing how the product has helped early adopters or solved specific problems can make the product feel more relatable and accessible. If the product's mission is rooted in social or environmental responsibility, it's important to highlight these values in the marketing materials, showcasing how the product is making a positive impact. The narrative should stay consistent and be woven into all touch points, from social media posts and website copy to customer support interactions and press releases. This approach humanizes the product and builds emotional connections with customers, which are essential for brand loyalty. Another important element to consider is pricing strategy. Pricing isn't just about covering costs and making a profit. It's a tool for positioning the product in the market and influencing consumer behavior. A well-considered pricing strategy can act as a signal to customers about the quality, value, and positioning of the product. For example, a high-end product with a premium price tag signals that it offers exceptional quality or exclusive features, which can appeal to a certain customer segment. On the other hand, an affordable pricing structure might be more effective. For a mass-market product that aims for widespread adoption, the key is to ensure that the pricing strategy is aligned with the product's value proposition and the target customer segment. One pricing tactic that can be effective in the early stages is offering introductory discounts or limited-time promotions to encourage trial and build momentum. This strategy works particularly well for products that require a customer to experience the value firsthand, such as software or subscription-based services. After the initial promotion period, however, it's essential to ensure that the price reflects the value being provided. If the product is too expensive relative to its benefits, customers may feel dissatisfied or choose to look for alternatives. If the product is priced too low, it could undermine its perceived value and create difficulties in sustaining profitability. As we continue to scale and iterate on the product, it's also worth considering diversifying the product offering itself. If the product is well received, there might be opportunities to introduce complementary products that enhance the original offering. For example, if a company launches a fitness tracking device, it might later expand by offering additional accessories, such as heart rate monitors or fitness coaching services. Similarly, if a brand creates a popular app, it could branch out into offering premium features, exclusive content, or integrations with other apps. This type of diversification can help build a more comprehensive product ecosystem that increases customer loyalty and generates additional revenue streams. When considering a product's life cycle, it's important to recognize that every stage, introduction, growth, maturity, and decline, requires distinct strategies to maximize its potential. Each phase brings unique challenges and opportunities that demand adaptive management. For instance, during the introduction phase, the primary focus is typically on generating awareness and encouraging early adoption. This often involves significant investment in marketing, promotional campaigns, and education to help potential customers understand the product's value proposition. At this stage, the product's branding, messaging, and positioning must be exceptionally clear and targeted to resonate with the intended audience. To illustrate this, imagine a tech startup launching an innovative app aimed at improving workplace productivity. In the introduction phase, the company might focus on building partnerships with key influencers in the business and tech sectors, creating engaging content that showcases the app's benefits, and offering limited-time free trials to encourage usage. The goal during this phase isn't just to acquire users, but to create a buzz around the product and establish its credibility in the market. Early adopters, if satisfied, can become powerful advocates, helping to drive organic growth through word-of-mouth referrals. As the product transitions into the growth phase, the focus shifts towards scaling operations, expanding market reach, and optimizing customer acquisition strategies. At this stage, it's essential to analyze which channels and tactics are delivering the highest return on investment and double down on those efforts. For instance, if social media ads are driving a significant portion of signups, the company might allocate more resources to refining and scaling those campaigns. Additionally, the growth phase often involves exploring new customer segments or geographic markets. This could mean tailoring the product or marketing messages to suit the preferences of different audiences, such as translating the app into multiple languages or offering region-specific features. The maturity phase is where many products face their biggest test. By this point, the market is often saturated, and competitors may have introduced similar products or even improved upon the original concept. To sustain momentum, companies must focus on differentiation, customer retention, and operational efficiency. This is where customer loyalty programs, subscription models, or exclusive perks can play a crucial role. For example, the app might introduce a premium subscription tier with advanced analytics, integration with other workplace tools, or personalized coaching sessions. The key here is to deepen the product's value for existing customers while continuing to attract new ones. In the decline phase, companies must make difficult decisions about whether to reinvest in revitalizing the product, pivot to a new direction, or phase it out entirely. Revitalization could involve introducing significant updates, rebranding, or finding new use cases for the product. Alternatively, if the product is no longer viable, phasing it out in a way that minimizes disruption for customers and maximizes the company's resources is crucial. This could mean offering existing users discounts on other products in the company's portfolio, or providing assistance in transitioning to alternative solutions. One critical aspect that underpins every phase of the product lifecycle is data-driven decision-making. By leveraging analytics and metrics, companies can gain valuable insights into customer behavior, market trends, and operational performance. For example, tracking user engagement within the app can reveal which features are most popular and which are underutilized. This information can then guide decisions about future updates or marketing strategies. Similarly, analyzing churn rates and customer feedback can help identify pain points that need to be addressed to improve retention. With the right tools and processes in place, data can become a powerful driver of innovation and continuous improvement. In addition to lifecycle management, market adaptability is a key factor in sustaining long-term success. The business landscape is constantly evolving, driven by changes in technology, consumer preferences, and economic conditions. Companies that can adapt quickly to these changes are better positioned to thrive. This requires a culture of innovation and a willingness to take calculated risks. For example, when the COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the shift toward remote work, many companies responded by developing or enhancing tools to support virtual collaboration. Those that acted quickly and effectively were able to capture significant market share and establish themselves as leaders in this new normal. Adaptability also extends to anticipating future trends and proactively positioning the product to capitalize on emerging opportunities. This involves keeping a close eye on industry developments, customer feedback, and competitive activity. For instance, if sustainability becomes a major focus for consumers, a company might explore ways to make its product more eco-friendly or emphasize its existing sustainability efforts in marketing campaigns. Anticipating and responding to such trends can help a product stay relevant and competitive in an ever-changing market. At the heart of all these efforts is a customer-centric mindset. Truly understanding and prioritizing the needs, preferences, and experiences of customers is what separates great products from mediocre ones. This goes beyond simply gathering feedback. It involves deeply empathizing with customers and designing every aspect of the product and its ecosystem to meet their needs. For example, the app could include a user-friendly onboarding process, intuitive navigation, and accessible customer support to ensure a seamless experience from the moment users sign up. Regularly engaging with customers through surveys, focus groups, or community forums can also help build strong relationships and foster a sense of loyalty. A great example of customer-centric innovation is the concept of co-creation, where companies actively involve customers in the product development process. This could mean inviting users to beta test new features, seeking input on design choices, or even collaborating with power users to create content or tools that benefit the wider community. By giving customers a voice and incorporating their ideas, companies can create products that truly resonate with their audience and foster a sense of ownership and pride among users. Finally, it's important to recognize that the success of a product is never solely about the product itself. It's about the ecosystem that surrounds it. This includes the brand, the customer experience, the support infrastructure, and the broader value proposition. Building a strong ecosystem requires collaboration across departments, from product development and marketing to customer support and sales. It also requires a long-term vision that aligns with the company's mission and values. By creating a cohesive and compelling ecosystem, companies can not only attract customers, but also turn them into lifelong advocates.